Hey, this is Dave from the Centurions Review. I was playing Boarding Party. I got it a few weeks ago. I'll be reviewing that in a day or two. And it's from Task Force Games, and it included this old catalog from fall in 1982, which has a lot of their old micro games. I collect micro games like crazy from every manufacturer. I just love them. So I figured I'd show everyone this catalog since probably no one's looked at it in, my God, 30 years or more. First page is about Starfleet battles. Heard a lot about Starfleet battles, never got into it. I always liked Star Trek, but for some reason I was just no one I knew played this game, so I didn't play it either, but I wish I would have. Looks like it had a lot of expansions and stuff. And the next page has Starline 2200 miniatures. I guess those are the Star Trek miniatures. I was at RockCon, and the guy offered to sell me a bunch for a good price. I probably should have bought them. I wasn't planning on using them, but I would have liked to have had them just for fun. On the bottom of the page, they're advertising Nexus magazine. If I recall correctly, this was Task Force Games in-house magazine, basically the same idea as Space Gamer, or maybe a little bit like Ares magazine, but if I recall correctly, it didn't have a board game in each issue at all, but I'm sure it was a decent magazine anyways. Alright, here's the meat and potatoes. The first thing we have here is Starfire. I got a copy of it here. Science fiction Starship Combat. Haven't actually had a chance to try it yet, though I really want to. I'll write a review of it when I do. Second one here is Starfire 2. Got a copy of that also. Sometime in the future I'll try that and review it. Third thing here is Starfire 3. Don't have a copy of that yet, but I'm keeping an eye out for it. And here they're talking about a game, Groundfire. I don't think they ever released that, but I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, leave a message in the comments section, because I'd like to get a hold of it if it actually exists. On the bottom of the page, they have Cerberus. I picked this up a few weeks ago for pretty cheap. I haven't had a chance to try it. It's some kind of science fiction infantry combat. I haven't read the rules yet, but I'm really looking forward to trying it. On the bottom right of the page, it's got a game called Robots. I've actually never owned that micro game. I'm keeping an eye out for it. I want to get a copy. On the next page, they have Ultra Warrior on the top. This is like a science fiction version of Melee, if I recall correctly. When I played it, it's one-on-one combat. It was decent. It just wasn't as good as Melee, but it was alright. Up here in the top is Intruder. I don't currently have a copy of that game, but I've had it in the past and I just loved it. I don't know why I got rid of it. I gotta get another copy. Great game, kind of based on Alien the movie. And Ares magazine, the new reboot of it, the one that's currently in production, I think it was in issue number 3. They did a clone of it, and Intruder was fantastic, the game. The clone of it is even more fantastic, so if you ever get a chance, try that. I did a review of it on my website. It's the only game I know of where you can do autopsies in the game, which is a mechanic I've never seen before. Here they're advertising Moonbase Clavius. Haven't tried it, but it's science fiction combat between the United States and the Russians on the moon. There's a company called Microgame Design Group, and they're currently selling a rebooted version of this, and what the author said is that when Task Force Games originally published this game, they changed a rule or two, and he didn't agree with it, and he thought it didn't help the game, so the version he's selling now has the original rules, which he claims are superior to this. I'd like to get a copy of that also. Here is Warriors of Batak. This game you can get for $3 to $10 usually. The cover artwork most people don't like, but the game itself is actually pretty decent. It's your standard science fiction infantry combat. If I recall correctly, it's humans versus aliens. It's a good game and it's worth it. If you see it for like $3 to $5, pick it up. I think you'll like it. On the bottom here, they have Boarding Party. Boarding Party, I've played it a few times the last few days. I'm going to be reviewing it soon. It's a very simple game and a little too simple. It's really for beginners who have never played a war game before, which is probably what it was meant for. But the map on it, there isn't enough room on the map to hold all the chits. And the game plays too fast and it's too simple, like I mentioned, but the storyline behind it's cool. Basically, a human spaceship goes into combat with your mortal enemies, which are robot-controlled spaceships, and both your ship and their ship are basically pretty much knocked out and disabled, and you go on board their spaceship and you need to knock out their main computer in order to keep their spaceship from repairing and attacking you again. And there's robots and shock doors and lock doors you have to get through, and you got to use explosives and stuff. It's very simple. The concept is fantastic. I wish someone would make a clone of this game and make it more complex and use some of the modern game mechanics and stuff. I think it would be pretty cool. Here, let's see, Escape from Alcazar. I don't currently have a copy of that. I played that years back. If I recall correctly, it's a science fiction game where you and your comrades are in jail and you escape from like a POW camp, and it's like shooting fish in the barrel. If I recall correctly, one side is just shooting like crazy and killing tons of the other side's prisoners who are trying to get away. I mean, it was alright, but nothing anyone's going to write home about. Checkpoint Omega, I played that years back, don't have a copy currently. If I recall correctly, it was a racing game where there's combat and stuff. I think it was pretty decent if I remember correctly. Alright, here's Battle Wagon, Battle for the Seas. Haven't tried this game yet, but I look forward to trying it. I don't think I've played any Task Force naval games yet. Warsaw Pact, that's not a micro game, haven't owned it yet. McPherson's Ridge, that's a box game. I think that might be about the Civil War. Down here they have the Operation Pegasus, the Relief of Khe Sanh. I look forward to trying this. I like playing games about the Vietnam War, so this looks pretty interesting. Here they have Armor at Kursk. I've played this. This is a good game. If I recall, it was a while ago, but if I recall correctly, I really liked the way they did. I don't know if it was anti-tank guns or artillery, but there was something about it which I thought the way they handled it was really good. Dungeon Tiles, I don't even know if that exists. I've never even seen that at auction or anything. Down here you have the double game Survival and the Barbarian. My friend had it. I played it about 15 years ago. I can't remember what Barbarian was like, but Survival, I think basically you're just trying to move to the other end of the board without being eaten or something. I mean, it was alright. It was a real simple game that seemed like it was meant for someone who's never played a war game before. Sword Quest, I've never seen that at auction. I don't know anything about it. City States of Arkarel, have that here. I bought it a week or two ago. I showed it to my friend. He requested that we try it out soon, so I'll get the rules read and I'll get a review of this as soon as I can. Valkenburg Castle, I played that at, we brought that to Black Sun Games about 8 years ago. It's a dungeon delve. If I remember, it was good. It's just I didn't like the map. There was some symbols or something on the map. I didn't like the way they did the symbols or the representation or something, but it was pretty good. It wasn't as good as Death Maze from SPI, but still pretty decent. Spellbinder, I don't have a copy of that, but I'm looking for it. And on the back, Heroes of Olympus, I know nothing about that. Power Play, I know nothing about. And Supervillains, I don't even know if Supervillains was released. It's supposedly a role-playing game. If anyone knows anything about it, post about it in the comments section. I'm just curious about it. Down here, it looks like they're advertising some miniatures. Anyhow, I figured you guys would want to see this old catalog. It's pretty cool, and it mentions a lot of these old games that I collect. Thanks for watching.